The night has come and the devil has come out. There's a moment in the middle of the night when everything goes silent. Even the dogs in the streets stop barking, the clocks stop ticking, and all the houses are asleep. But there's one house where someone is awake. Not awake because they're reading or praying. No, he's awake and getting ready. He takes the knife from under the pillow, puts on his black clothes, and silently wears his boots. And he goes out, looking for a new victim. A victim. Not because he wants to steal from her or because he hates her, no. He kills because he loves it. This is sick. He kills to hear the scream, to smell the blood, and in the end he says, "This is a sacrifice for the devil." And this was him, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. A terrifying beginning. Imagine you sleep safely in your home and suddenly you wake up to the sound of footsteps in the hallway. She gets up and looks, finding someone standing in the dark, wearing black, with black eyes and silent, holding a hammer, and blood is glistening from it. This is not a dream. This was the life of many people in California in 1985. Behind every crime they committed, there was only one name, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. The man who entered history not as a killer. No, he entered history as a symbol of terror, as if the devil put on human clothes and went out to kill. Ramirez was born in Texas in 1960, in a poor neighborhood. His father was very violent, his mother was sick, and their house was full of suffocation. And his address was hell. But the one who really ruined his life was his cousin Miguel. Miguel was an American soldier who served in Vietnam. He returned broken and insane. He was telling Richard about what he did in the war, how he killed people, raped women, and took pictures next to them while they were dead. And Richard, at the age of 12, sat listening to him, mesmerized, as if he were telling him a bedtime story. But those were devil stories. And one day, Miguel went into a rage, pulled out the gun, and killed his wife in front of Richard when he was 13 years old. From here the child was gone, and the devil took his place. After that shock, Richard changed. He started running away from home, sleeping in cemeteries, listening to metal and watching murder movies. He entered the world of drugs and started worshiping the devil. He used to say that he saw nightmares and that the devil spoke to him in his sleep. He started stealing, and then breaking into houses. At first he was just stealing. Then he started to feel a strange pleasure seeing people scared. And then, he decided to take the bigger step: murder. June 28, 1984. Ramirez's first murder was of an elderly woman named Jenny Vinco. He entered her house at night, strangled her, raped her, and cut her throat to the point where her head was about to come off. And he walked out of the house as if nothing had happened, leaving a terrifying message on the wall, demonic symbols drawn in blood, and below it, the words, "The devil lives." From March 1985 until August of the same year, Richard committed at least 13 murders. His method was always the same. He would enter anyone's house, rich, poor, young, old, it didn't matter. He kills men with different tools, a knife, a hammer, a gun, and he rapes women even if she was an old woman. Sometimes he would let a child or a young girl live just to tell the story of the devil that entered their house. He would leave behind strange symbols and write on the walls, "Hail Satan, long live Satan," as if he doesn't kill for theft or revenge. No, he performs bloody rituals, sacrifice to the devil. All of California has turned into a big prison. People stopped opening the windows, men sleep next to rifles, women put locks on every door. The newspapers day after day publish, "The unknown killer strikes again." The police were lost, there was no pattern, no useful fingerprints, and people were living in fear. One day, a woman saw him coming out of his neighbor's house with blood on his clothes, and she managed to get the car's license plate number, and then the police published his picture everywhere. On August 31, 1985, Ramirez entered a grocery store and found his picture on the cover. He tried to escape, but people recognized him. The whole street ran after him, caught him, and beat him, and the police arrived just in time to save him from the crowd. He entered the courtroom dressed in black with a devilish star drawn on his palm. The first word he said was, "Long live Satan." It turned out that he killed 13 people, raped 11, and robbed more than 14 houses. He was sentenced to death in 1989. But wait. He didn't die in the electric chair. He spent 24 years in prison and died of cancer in 2013. He died in a hospital, alone, without family, without love, without mercy. Even the devil he worshipped left him to die like any human being. Ramirez didn't come from another planet. He was a human being, raised wrong, saw horror, and turned into a monster. Be careful with the child who is exposed to violence or hears dark stories, because one day it might be the night that is coming upon us. Richard Ramirez wasn't just a killer, he was the product of a shattered childhood, a mind nourished by darkness, violence, and addiction. But the truth we always need to remember is that evil doesn't start big, it starts from a moment, from a choice. Sometimes we see these people as if they were in horror movies. We get scared and intrigued, and we forget that these victims were real, and their souls are gone. This story isn't for entertainment. This story is for us to understand, to pay attention to those around us, and to always choose to be on the side of the light. Because darkness, no matter how tempting, its end is always ugly.